going to talk about Ja Morant being back. So Ja Morant's back from his 25-game suspension. And I don't want to say I forgot how good Ja Morant is, but in watching him, it feels like sometimes when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's right. Ja Morant is actually really, really good. Ja Morant is nice. Ja Morant has the ability to be, if the way he's been looking like the best, like he solidified, not solidified. He came back in, and in these 4 games, he reminded everybody at NBA that, hey, I'm the best guy at getting to the basket. Like, I'm the best guy in the league at getting to the, and not only getting to the basket, but getting to the basket quickly. And then once in the air, making really, really, really tough layups and ones, game winners at the rim, making the defense get into foul trouble. He's one of the best at it. And obviously, we know this about John, but it was so interesting to me to see how quickly the Memphis Grizzlies looked different. Like how much better the Memphis Grizzlies looked as soon as Ja Morant came on the court. It's just, Zayd, what's good with you for pulling up? Thanks for pulling up to the stream. Zayd says Ja is better than Hallie. I'm not mad at that. That's not, to me, not crazy to say, mainly because as much as I love Tyrese Halliburton, we've seen Ja Morant do this for like more than one season now. I think this season, mainly because Tyrese Halliburton got injured last year. We saw it for a portion of last season. This season feels like maybe the first full season we're seeing Tyrese Halliburton play at this elite level, whereas we've seen Ja Morant play at this elite level for a couple of years now. He's been in MVP conversations before. I don't remember where I think he would have potentially finished maybe just outside or right at the 5th for top 5 for MVP voting last year, but then he ends up with all the suspensions, and I think that kind of tanked his MVP considerations. But that's the conversations that people were having about Ja Morant going into throughout the regular season last year. Let me see. I had a couple of things that I thought were interesting in terms of the Memphis Grizzlies just looking better, Ja on the floor, because it frees up the ball out of Desmond Bane's hands more, so he's able to get involved in more catch and shoot situations. Jaren Jackson Jr. even has a really, really dynamic pick and roll partner now in Ja Morant. Not saying pick and roll between him and Desmond Bane weren't effective. They're just going to be better with Ja. Just his ability, the team just looks more dynamic, because teams have to prepare for Ja Morant differently than when they don't have. Also, shout out to Marcus Smart. He's actually looked really solid over this in his last game back. I haven't seen a ton of Marcus. Ain't gonna lie to you, I wasn't watching a lot of Memphis when Ja wasn't playing these first 25 games. I watched a couple of their games when they were still playing good in the beginning of the season. They started slipping some games. Marcus Smart got injured. I kind of tuned out, even though I got Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson in fantasy. I wasn't locked into every game. But Memphis Grizzlies, since Ja Morant came back. Memphis Grizzlies with Ja so far this season. Bane's averaging 29, 4, and 6. I wish this tweet didn't have true shooting percentages. I'm not really the biggest fan of true shooting. But Jaren Jackson averaging 21 and 7. Ja's putting up 29, 5, and 9. Main point here that I wanted to make. With Ja Morant, this team is completely different. Now, what does this mean in terms of how far can they go? Can they make it all the way back? I don't know. I don't know how far they can go. If you look at the NBA standings, I had it up earlier. I think at the very least, the Memphis Grizzlies should be a play-in team, if I'm being completely honest with you, because when I look at some of the other teams that are in the play-in or the bottom of the playoffs, I can see 1 or 2 slipping out. VR, you said give you Tyrese over Ja. I don't agree, but I'm not mad at it. I don't agree, but I'm not mad at it. Tyrese has been playing absolutely phenomenal. Part of what makes Tyrese Halliburton to me so special, obviously, it's the passing. What makes his passing so effective is his crazy ability to score the ball efficiently. He scores the ball really well efficiently, and that unlocks a lot of passing game. Tyrese can help the Grizzlies more. I don't know. I need to see Tyrese Halliburton in playoffs, and that's the only reason I'm not jumping to say that, because I've seen Ja Morant step up in playoff series. I've seen Ja Morant step up in big situations. I haven't seen that from Tyrese Halliburton yet. Going off skill for skill, player for player, I think it just depends on what you like more. Ja Morant's ability to get downhill and attack the basket at a high rate while also being able to shoot the 3 ball versus Halliburton's ability to have the ball on the string and set up his teammates. He shoots the lights off the ball. I think it's back and forth, because I think what the Grizzlies were missing, and I'm sure Tyrese Halliburton wouldn't hurt, but they were missing, and Tyrese do be getting buckets. I was going to say they were missing Ja Morant's offense. I'm not mad at the take. I don't know if I agree, but I'm not mad at the take. What I did want to point out is this. So right now the Grizzlies are 10 and 9. They're the 13th bigger, close enough. Imagine his assist numbers with JJJ and Desmond Bane. I get what you're saying, VR. I just don't know if I agree. That's all I'm saying. I get what you're saying. I don't know if I agree. Because to an extent, Ja's also not a bad defender. Tyrese is. So I think Ja's point of attack, not to saying he's the point of attack defender, but Ja's ability to play in passing lanes. Sometimes he got, the weak side help blocks that he gets that go viral. He really likes to play, mainly playing in passing lanes, because the Bane's a lot of time their point of attack guy, or Marcus Smart's now their point of attack guy. I don't know. It might be because I just love playmaking over scoring, but I just love how he plays. I love how he plays too. This ain't a knock on Halliburton. Like, he plays fantastic. I just don't know if I'd pick him over Ja yet. I'll say yet, because I've only seen 27 games of this version of Tyrese Halliburton. I've seen Ja do this in the playoffs before. I haven't seen it. We'll revisit it at the end of the season. It'll be an interesting conversation at the end of the season when we do our top 5 guards and stuff like that. Grizzlies right now, 10-19, 13th place in the West. Golly, they dropped. Even the Suns right now are out of looking on the outside of the play-in at 14-15. You got the Lakers and Warriors here at 9-10. The teams, if any team had to drop, because now I'm looking at it, this is tough, because the fact that the Suns are still out, it makes me nervous. It's going to be a long road, and it's not going to be easy. If any teams were to fall out of the play-in, believe it or not, I'm looking at the Rockets, and I'm looking at, honestly, call me a hater, Warriors or Lakers. I'm 50-50 on which one of these teams could drop out. If I had to pick one, I feel like if I had to pick any team to drop out, it'd be the Pelicans, simply based off of a Zion injury. I hate to preach that over them. If the Pelicans stay healthy, I don't think they drop out. If they stay healthy, I don't think they drop all the way out. If they mess around and keep battling with injuries like they have already kind of been, CJ missed some time. They collapsed lung. Jose Alvarado missed the start of the season. As long as they can stay healthy, I think Trey Murphy missed some time with the Pelicans. If they can stay healthy, I'm not mad at them staying here. I think it would take a team like maybe the Rockets to fall out, the Warriors maybe to fall out, for the Grizzlies to get in. It's not going to be an easy road. It's not impossible, but it's not going to be easy. And especially considering the 2 wins that the Grizzlies got on their 4-game win streak. 2 of them are against the Pelicans. I'm not sure if they've already played them once, but I know the Grizzlies have at least 2 games on them. And I'm at this early in the season, I can almost guarantee they haven't played all 4 games. So if it comes to a tiebreaker situation, potentially with the Pelicans, the Grizzlies at least have that leg up on them. And honestly, I think the Grizzlies can still beat Ja. They're in the mix with these teams. They can beat the Lakers, the Warriors, the Suns. Like, they're as good as these teams. They're just going to have to continue to get on a nice little streak to get closer into their record. But once they're in the mix with their record, they can make the play. And if they make the play-in, they can do a lot from there. They just need to make the play-in, and from there, they can win their play-in games. They can go into a nice little first-round matchup. I like their chances to make the play. Why does that name sound familiar? Neemias Quinta? Who he play for right now? Celtics, right? He just had that good game against the Clippers the other day when they played without. Was that the game without KP? TikTok asked Tom to Mason 25 asks, have you seen Neemias Quinta play? I didn't realize I was watching him play, but I have seen him play. I saw that game that the Celtics played against the Clippers a couple of days. He's been solid, just a nice little energy guy for them, coming off their bench or sometimes plugging in and starting lineup depending on injuries. The Celtics find a way to find energy guys, and that's all you need. One thing I did want to talk about Ja Morant, and it's I think a conversation that we're going to be dealing with throughout the entire season, or at least a conversation that Ja Morant's going to have to deal with the entire season. After I wish I don't have the itself, but I have this tweet from Chandler Parsons, or this quote, I guess I'll say, from Chandler Parsons. This is after the sidelines out of bounds play. I want to say it was an overtime. Inbound the ball to Bane. Bane kicks it to Smart, and Smart throws the lob to Ja. Ja does the dance, pulls the triggers, throws the bazooka on the shoulder. At least that what it appears to be. Later, I'm finding out, spent all day on Twitter. Apparently, that's a dance from New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken, or at least Louisiana. Don't quote me on that, but that's what Twitter has been telling me all day, that this is a dance from that area, showing other football players in the NFL doing the dance, showing players from LSU doing the dance. So it's something from Louisiana. I'll put it that way. Chandler Parsons had this to say on Running Back FanDuel TV. Chandler Parsons calls out Ja Morant after last night's celebration. What else has to happen to you and your family and your friends to learn? Make this about basketball. Make this about your life. Make this about your livelihood. Stop doing things like my only thoughts for Chandler Parsons when it comes to, or just people in general, because Chandler was the first person I think that I noticed to say something about this, but I guarantee you he's not going to be the last person to talk about how Ja conducts himself on, or I'll say mainly on the court, because this was just an on-court celebration. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. As wild as it sounds, honestly, the NBA's only issue with what Ja Morant did is that the whole world found out about it. If we're going to keep it a bean, The NBA didn't necessarily have any issue with any of his celebrations that he did on the court before. The NBA didn't have any issue with how he conducted himself in like interviews and anything like that before. It was just he went live on IG, or his boy went live on IG, whatever, at the wrong times. Right. That was the main issue I think that the NBA had, is that the whole world found about it. I don't think there's a world where, or I think, let me rephrase, I think it's unfair to any NBA player really, for you to fully expect them to change what I would consider a harmless celebration. A nice dunk like that, everybody in the league is going to celebrate. And I saw another interesting tweet underneath this same thread had another interesting tweet that I thought was, honestly, it made sense. This is from Ebris11. But when LeBron shot air guns and smoked a few weeks back, it was perfectly okay with everyone. I hate the hate that everyone gives Ja. Probably couldn't have said it better myself. We remember when Bron a couple weeks ago was, passing it around when the Lakers was rolling during them in-season tournament games, nationally televised games. One of LeBron's biggest celebrations is cocking the joint and putting the magazine in. So, like, I think this is specifically because it's Ja and the history that he has, getting off of the suspension, this, that, and third. But I just hope this doesn't continue to be a continuous conversation throughout the rest of the season. It's literally his fourth game back, and we're already having this type of conversation. I don't think I've seen him make a mistake. Is that about Neemias Quinta? Because if that's the case, then that's facts. Let's see what else you're saying. Lakers fans playing for neutral locations. Hey, don't see why people tripping over that, though. You telling me when you hype, you don't. Wait, what is the whole thing say? Don't see why people tripping over that, though. You telling me when you hype, you ain't pulling them triggers. Jalen Parsons needed. I mean, I don't disagree, VR. I don't disagree. Oh, Hallie, you've never seen make a mistake. He don't make many. I got to watch a couple of their recent games. I was listening to, I think, The Mismatch, and they were talking about how Halliburton has, like, not had the greatest week last week, and they don't know if it's because people are figuring him out a little bit. But I haven't watched the Pacers probably like a week and a half, so I could be missing. Anyway, long story short, I'm happy that Ja Morant is back, and I hope that we just continue to not give him grace, but just let him hoop. Like, just let him hoop. That's all I'm asking for.